Hello and welcome to Club Day Stage 4 for the Apollo IE. This is a great little car. Don't know if I should call it a little car. This is a great hypercar. I'm liking it so far. And we are at Hockenheim Ring. And at Hockenheim Ring, there are a few cuts you could take if you're having trouble. I'll probably show you some of them at some point here. Mostly, I'm finding this is a very easy event. So what I'm doing is I'm just buying the upgrades I need when I need them. If you're having trouble and you got the currency, you could go to all tier 3 upgrades right at the start of this event, and it's going to be a lot easier for you, and you'll actually earn a little bit more because you'll probably be able to place higher in certain races. Regardless though, I thought I'd do it this way because I find a lot of these can be kind of boring, the required PR events. So I'm making it maybe a little more challenging on myself. That time I really blew the breaking point. Like I've been saying in every other video, I'm not doing any tests. I'm just hopping in the car and boom, let's go. So I'm kind of guessing on the breaking points. I'm trying to think of a car that feels similar, and then I start with those breaking points and make the adjustments as I go. And that's what a lot of people don't realize with no assist racing, is that like some people think, oh, you got to learn every single track and every single car. No, you don't actually. You learn the braking points at the track and then you just adjust them a little bit for each car. Sometimes there are some bigger differences. Actually at Hockenheim Ring it's interesting because in some hypercars, okay, in some cars you don't have to brake at corner 1, not too many. With every car you're going to have to brake at this corner here. And then if you get this right, you're full throttle through these little corners here. Although I've noticed that the Koenigsegg Regera often brakes at one of those corners. Don't have to. That's the downside of brake assists, is it will make you. Then this corner, this is the troubling corner for a lot of cars. You gotta have that braking point down. Next corner, never need to brake for this corner. But then depending on the car, you might have to get on the brakes really early for this corner. Then heading into the next 2 corners, you don't need to brake if you get the trajectory correct in a lot of cars. And brake assist will be braking at those corners. Okay, so I really wanted to make sure I hit speed. And I probably didn't need to do what I did. This thing's braking a lot better. Like I mentioned in other videos, when you're slowly adding upgrades, you're not always used to how the car is going to handle, and so I just wasn't quite used to it's braking better than I was expecting. So that's good. And we'll just throw this thing sideways as we go across the line. And I'm going through my earnings pretty quick here. I'm going to be summarizing everything in stage 5. So all my earnings and all my expenses and all the rewards, I'll summarize all of that so you can see it all. And your experience will be different depending on how high you finished in each race. But it won't be too much different. So far, we haven't had any endurance races. That's kind of interesting. Okay, so this one, we've got tire degradation. So that's going to be interesting. There, you see where I was just driving? That's not considered off track on this track. It's kind of interesting. So I sometimes do that if I want to carry more speed. It's not necessarily faster time-wise. Sometimes it feels like it is, so hard to say, really. There's a Regera, and we'll just see. Watch what the Regera does. Oh, he's braking right there. Silly Regera. You don't need to brake there. Okay, so I'm trying to get far ahead quickly before I start getting in some of the other requirements. Tires are definitely degrading pretty quickly, and of course they don't rebuild, unlike the brakes. Brake degradation, of course, will rebuild. Tire degradation, of course, will not. So, monitoring this car is pretty grippy though, so I don't think it's going to be too consequential. Oh, there's first place right there. So maybe I can actually win this race. I always prefer to win a race. I don't like it when I don't like getting so many second place finishes, which we've had a lot of in this particular series. Oh, that was pretty sloppy. Well, good thing it doesn't matter too much in this race. So what I don't know about is if the second place car there, if that car is going to stay behind me now, or if I'm going to have to do the pit maneuver to keep him in his place. And it doesn't look like I'm going to have to. Downside of going off track is your tire degradation goes way up when you're off track. So maybe don't do that as much, but whatever. The upside actually is the more you wear out these tires, the easier it's going to be to skid. So he's going to catch up on me really fast. I thought I was going to have to set up a pit maneuver here, but then he's on the brakes. So not really. Get some more skidding in. Like I've been saying, this is a pretty easy event. I'm not finding any troubles. Big smash. Get some more skidding in, drift the corners a little bit. That's kind of fun. Yep. No big troubles, I don't think. As you can see, the drifting gets easier as the tires get more worn out. Definitely, if you're driving with a bunch of assists on, like if you've got traction control on, hopefully it's toggling it off for you, but that could be causing some problems. If you got traction control on and you need to slide, you can't really do that. Drifting with traction control on isn't going to work, although drifting with steering assist on actually can be beneficial. I've actually done that on purpose sometimes. It seems to help you to hold the line so you can carry a nicer drift, I find. Well, there we go. I won. I like to win. I prefer to win. Winning is fun. Okay, so what do we got here? Head-to-head race with the Lotus. I noticed that Lotus gets on the brakes really early. So that's interesting. Most of these electric cars have pretty good acceleration, but I think he's going to pound those brakes pretty early. Let's see here. I'll draft for a little bit here, but I got to be careful because he's going to hit those brakes early and I don't want to be smashing into him. It's kind of funny. You get these events that say no damage. Yeah, there's ways around that. I'll show you what I'm talking about in a bit here. First of all, I'll get in all of my requirements. And there you go. Made him draft me. Now watch this. Boom! Hey, I didn't fail. Well, if you go back and look at that, I lifted off the accelerator right as I was making contact. That's what you do to not fail when you're doing the pit maneuver on someone. Can't do that with tilt A controls because you're either accelerator or brakes. And both of those will actually make you get damaged. So there's something about the coding of the game that when you have neither brakes or gas on and you make minor contact with someone, it's no damage. And I've sometimes really taken this to an extreme where it said no damage and I did the pit maneuver on cars like 5-6 times and I didn't fail. So if you are careful with it, you can get away with an awful lot of fun. Yes, I do find giving people the pit maneuver fun. Fun. Anyhow, no need to do what I did, the pit maneuver, but I wanted to. I'm getting, I don't know, I get a little bit of frustration built up in me. And that's what I do. Okay, so already here you can see I'll be adding some upgrades. I'll let you see that. Again, I'm not going to add up the costs right here. I'm going to add all this up and show that to you in stage 5, the total upgrade cost. You will need to buy all tier 3 level upgrades. So, yeah, you probably know what that means. If you don't, I guess just check out the last video. But that's like stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, or tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. So that's a whole, nowadays it's pretty fixed that all tier 1 upgrades are R dollars, all tier 2 upgrades are gold, all tier 3 upgrades are R dollars. In the original cars in this game, it didn't work that way. Tier 1, tier 2, and even some tier 3 upgrades would just be R. And so sometimes it's weird, it varied. Used to be some of the early Porsches, you'd actually have the odd tier 1 upgrade that was gold. Sometimes you'd have 2 tiers that were back-to-back gold. It really varied a lot. But for the longest time now, they just go tier 1's R, tier 2's gold, tier 3's R, tier 4's gold, tier 5's R. And if there's more tiers, sometimes it keeps alternating. Sometimes it doesn't, but there we go. Again, not too much to these races. If you don't know your braking points, I guess it's possible that you're really having trouble on some of these races. I don't think they're doing what they used to do where they'll force you to drive with no assists in certain stages. Even though they should, they're not telling you that. Well, I shouldn't say that they should. Maybe they're just giving you the option. Like I noticed in the BMW M4 GT3 event, we had stages where there was overheating or running out of gas. Used to be they would not let you choose automatic accelerator in those situations. Now they are. So that's where these videos come in handy, because you realize that if you don't have different ways of doing your settings, there's no way you're going to pass some of those events. It will be impossible. And so far, we really haven't had anything like that really required that. So we'll see what happens here. Kind of surprising to me, but so far there's been nothing like that. All right, so go flying by that guy. And there we go. That's my last required overtake. Still got a ways to go here, but that's okay. Gives me some more chance to practice at Hockenheimring. So we got this big sweeping left-hand corner. And then there's kind of marks on the grass that I watch. Like, I'd sometimes use the one sign that was there as a braking point. That is definitely not working in this car. So you kind of just watch. It's really helpful when you can watch for markers along the sides of the track. Some tracks you just can't do that, and then it gets tricky. You're almost braking by feel. Let's see if I think I can do that. Yeah, you get that nice. That's where you make up tons of time at Hockenheimring. This is one of the tracks that really showed me how much you can save having your assists all off. How much time can be saved, and how much those assists are wasting your time. Even brake assist low comes on 2, even 3 times at Hockenheimring when it is not required at all. There we go. That should be the end of this, maybe. Oh, right. Another whole lap. I forgot about that. You know what? We're going to zoom through it. As you've been seeing, this is an incredibly easy race, and I don't want to necessarily bore you, so we'll just zip through this last lap, get on to the rewards for Stage 4. So, again, I'll be adding up all of these earnings for the Stage 5 video, and here you go, earnings for Stage 4. Please like, please subscribe, check out some other stuff, and join me for the last stage.